Well, hello there and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making one of my favorite summer's end dishes, which is ratatouille. This is basically everything that's left in the garden after summer, and it happens to be one of my all-time favorite things to eat this time of year. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you already saw this, but I got so many requests on how to make it that I figured I'd put a little video together. So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and wash all of our vegetables. Please know that I do have this recipe up on my website at laurennicholson.com, and I will link it down below. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, definitely head over there and check it out. It is Mrs. Lauren Nicholson, and I'll link that down below as well. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is preheat the oven to 350 degrees. We're going to be roasting our bell peppers because they're going to be the base along with our canned tomatoes for the sauce that goes at the bottom. What I like to do is to cut these in half. I like to remove all the seeds, pretty much anything I'm going to have to remove later. That way when these are done baking, I can just pull the skins right off of them and get them into the sauce. If you want to do a whole cluster, like keep the actual bell peppers together, you could do that too. I've just always found this to be a lot easier. Once I'm done taking everything out of them, I'm going to put them facing down on a baking sheet, and I'm going to bake them for about 20 minutes or until the tops are nice and brown and the insides are nice and soft. So while those are roasting, we're going to go ahead and slice up our vegetables. I'm going to be using a zucchini, a squash, and some Japanese eggplants. I'm going to be using my mandolin here so that everything has the same consistency and size. I'm going to quickly slice all these up and set them aside. The last thing you want to slice up are some Roma tomatoes. I like using Roma tomatoes because they're nice and hearty, and the skins are going to hold up well with all the other vegetables when we go to bake this. So now that our vegetables are done, I'm going to start making our sauce. I'm going to be chopping up one large yellow onion and about 4 to 6 cloves of garlic. I love garlic, so I usually do like maybe 6 to 8, but I think 4 to 6 is pretty sufficient for what we're going to be doing here. I did want to add just something kind of fun you can do as maybe the main to a ratatouille. So I'm going to be baking a pork tenderloin, and I decided to actually bread it with some panko, and I'm going to add some really good smoked paprika and some fun spices to kind of spice this up a bit. You can pretty much put ratatouille with anything this time of year. Roasted chicken is also really good, but I wanted to share this recipe with you guys. I do not have it linked, but basically it's like any other pork tenderloin, except we're just going to bread it and bake it for about 35 minutes or until it's ready. So I'm going to swap out my bell peppers for my pork tenderloin, but gosh, these turned out really good. And I'm going to go ahead and let those cool for a bit before I start to remove the skins. What I like to do is to actually cover it right when it comes out of the oven. This way all the moisture stays locked in, and it actually helps you remove the skins later in the day.
Now give me the beat.
Once you have all the skins removed, you can go ahead and just chop those up roughly and set them aside. We're going to be adding those to our sauce and we're going to be blending them all down, so don't feel like you have to really chop them up too much because the blender will do that for us. In a large pot, go ahead and add some olive oil. We're going to be cooking down our garlic and then we're going to add our onions. I like to just cook these until they're translucent and fragrant, and then I'm also going to be adding in some herbs as well. I always like to add the herbs in early so that way they have time to really cook down and infuse any type of sauce, but we will remove them before we blend them, otherwise they'll get a really bitter flavor. So once these are done sauteing down, we're going to add 28-ounce can of, I do fire roasted diced tomatoes, but you can really use any diced tomato, and we're going to cook that for a little bit on a simmer. Once you have everything mixed well, we're going to be adding an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. Well, excuse me, it's tomato paste, but I like it because it just really thickens up the sauce. The herbs I'm going to use today are some fresh thyme and bay leaf. Once your tomato paste is really well incorporated, we're going to throw in our roasted bell peppers and we're going to actually get this into the blender. I would suggest, if you are not going to let this cool before blending it, to use something like a Vitamix or any type of blender that can handle heat. I'm going to put mine in there and I'm not going to do it way too much. I don't want it to be like super soupy. I want it to be a little rustic. So I'm just going to give it a couple zaps in the blender and then put it back in the pot. So now the fun part. Go ahead and find any type of round baking dish. I'm going to be using this as a really simple one. I'll see if I can link something simple down in the description. I'm going to add sauce to the bottom. I want to fill this up probably half the way, or you can even do like 1/4 of the way. I like it to be nice and thick, and you'll see at the end why. But I'm going to go ahead and fill this in, and then I'm going to start layering on the vegetables. So what I like to do is actually do these in patterns. So I will put a zucchini, a squash, an eggplant, and a tomato, and I'll kind of just layer them right in my hand, and then I'm just going to delicately lay them into the dish. I'm going to keep doing that until the entire dish is full. I don't know about you guys, but just watching this is so satisfying. It's almost as satisfying as it is to eat it, but I have to tell you, this is just one of my favorite parts about cooking, is just being creative and making cool stuff that tastes awesome. Tell me in the descriptions down below, have you ever had ratatouille and do you like it? Well, there you have it, guys. We got it all finished and ready to bake. Definitely hit that like button if you think this looks delicious, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more cooking and decorating inspiration. Before we put this in the oven, I like to cut a little bit of parchment paper on top to keep it from overcooking or browning, and then I'm going to bake this for about 40 minutes. I keep it on 350 so it kind of will bake slowly, but you want to definitely keep the top from burning. I'm going to put a little salt and pepper. You can put any type of herb on there, so if you wanted to do like an herbes de Provence or anything like that, it would be absolutely delicious. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil. That will help your parchment paper stick to the top, and I'm going to bake that. Once it's done, I'm going to pull it out, take the parchment off, and I'm going to bake just for like 5 to 10 minutes to brown the top, and then I'm going to get it on the table. Our pork tenderloin is done. How yummy does this look? It's going to be so delicious and crunchy. So now that our ratatouille is finished, I'm going to show you how I like to kind of take it out and display it on top of anything. This is one of the reasons I like using pork tenderloin, is it can kind of emulate that round circle that the vegetables have. So it becomes a perfect little house to keep our ratatouille on top. So to stack the ratatouille, I like to take it out in little layers, and I will always take one little piece on top just to make it look fancy and add a little bit of chive just as a decoration, and voila, that's all it takes, guys. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Definitely hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!